What struck me more than anything, I don't know if you were around for it, Eamon, was Kim Jong-un fielding a question from a reporter and actually giving an answer. That's never been done before, has it? That was, if that's the only thing that happened there. And his answer, I thought, was pretty amazing as well. I don't know if we can actually believe him 100%, but it was still amazing. Were you around for that, or I know you know what I'm talking about?
I wasn't there. Yeah, the logistics here are kind of complicated, so I was not there for that. But David Nakamura, the American reporter, did ask Kim Jong-un a question, asked him ultimately if he was willing to denuclearize, and Kim Jong-un responded through a translator and said that if he wasn't willing to denuclearize, he wouldn't be here in Hanoi for the summit with President Trump. So that was the response that we got from the North Korean leader. And you think, Joe, just a couple of years ago, it was difficult for the American side even to get any message at all from the U.S. government to the North Korean government and have communication back and forth on a government-to-government level. And here we saw an American reporter have a chance to ask the North Korean dictator a question. So that was a remarkable moment. But ultimately here, Joe, no deal in Hanoi, Vietnam. Air Force One was wheels up at about 3:50 East Coast time. That was after the president scrapped a planned lunch meeting with Kim Jong-un. They literally left the tables set for lunch as the president walked out of the negotiating table here. They scrapped a planned signing ceremony for what was billed as a joint agreement, but never specified. That didn't happen either. And at a hastily called press conference, President Trump explained what went wrong here and explained his thinking in walking away from this deal. Here's what he said.
Basically, they wanted the sanctions lifted in their entirety, and we couldn't do that. They were willing to denuke a large portion of the areas that we wanted, but we couldn't give up all of the sanctions for that. So we continue to work, and we'll see, but we had to walk away from that particular suggestion. We had to walk away from that.
Is what he's just saying.
So the president saying that he had to walk away. He said he walked away in a friendly way, though, and he values his relationship with Kim Jong-un. They'll keep the lines of communications presumably open, but this president not committing to any further summit with Kim Jong-un, saying it could be a long time before the two men sit down together face to face. One sort of silver lining here, if you want to look at it that way, Joe, is that both sides seem to be suggesting that even though these talks broke down, they're not backsliding. That is, that the North Koreans have signaled to President Trump, he said in the press conference, that they are not going to resume nuclear testing or missile flights. That's a key element of concession that Trump got from their side last year. And then also for his part, President Trump signaling that he's not going to resume those joint military exercises with the South Koreans. That was a concession that he made last year at the Singapore summit. So both sides appear to be holding to the concessions that they've already given, but simply unwilling to go any further today. The president saying that if the North Koreans are willing to denuclearize part of the country but not all of it, that's just not enough. He's not willing to give up on sanctions on that basis alone, Joe.
Yep. A lot to consider there. There's, there's ways of denuclearizing part of the country where the main facilities are still existing, right? And we know everything, don't we? We know where they are. We know.
The president said we do.
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah. The president said, in fact, that he presented the North Koreans with evidence of some of the sites that they have where they're developing this nuclear technology in North Korea. He claimed that the North Koreans were surprised that the American side knew about all of those locations. But ultimately, if you're going to denuclearize part of the country, that means that you've nuclearized another part of the country, and that's just not good enough, right? If you're dealing with the potential for nuclear weapons.
A cynic would, I guess, say that it gave Kim Jong-un another opportunity to be seen with the most powerful man in the world and to be seen as, at least by his countrymen, standing up to the demands of the most powerful nation on the planet. I guess that's the cynical view, is that is something to gain. That PR is something that North Korea gets from meeting with President Trump, and I don't know what necessary. But then again, the president gets
one of the things analysts have said over the years is,
yeah, go ahead.
one of the things analysts have said over the years is that what North Korea wants as much as anything else is just respect and a position on the international stage. And previous presidents have not been willing to give Kim Jong-un or his father that respect and that position on the world stage and in front of a global media audience. This president was willing to do it to take a chance at getting at a deal. The question that I have coming out of all this, Joe, is what was it that they saw on the U.S. side that allowed them to go forward with this summit in the first place? There must have been some indication from the North Koreans that there was a deal in the offing. Otherwise, why travel halfway around the world to sit down only to get up and walk away several hours later? I mean, it seems like there was something that led them to believe that they could get to a deal, and whatever that was obviously fell through.
I'm glad he didn't take the sanctions off, because you can imagine the what we'd be reading in the papers today if it was a deal that wasn't worth doing. There'd be a lot. It was a lose-lose. We were talking about that yesterday. It's gonna be tough to get enough, and if it's I don't know how you come out of it where you get a clear-cut win.